Welcome to the Mental Toughness Minute. This is where I take the very brief article that I write as part of my newsletter, which should take you about a minute to read, and expand on it a little bit further. So I ask you for a few more of your minutes so we can talk about this particular topic in a little bit more detail. So for the topic for this particular video are 3 ways to handle criticism. Ouch, criticism. So I don't know about you, would rather not receive criticism. I'd rather people give me praise and tell me what a wonderful job that I'm doing. But we know that whenever we extend ourselves, push ourselves out there, it's inevitable that at some point in time we will, after putting ourselves out there, maybe receive some criticism. So of course there is reasonable criticism from which we can grow, and then there is criticism that is just mean and horrible, and that's some of the criticism that we probably want to be able to put to one side. But let's have a little bit of a look at 3 ways that I think that we can handle criticism when it comes our way. The first thing to do is to filter the feedback. So as I was implying before, you might get all sorts of different feedback, and we need to be able to virtually have, that's the visual I actually have, is it's like a filtering system, like a sieve that you might have, that you go, well, of the things that have been said, which are the things that I'm going to take on board? And that might depend on who is saying it, how they're saying it, so, and again, if it's from someone who I wouldn't seek their advice, then do I want to seek their criticism or their disapproval of me? I know it's much easier said than done, but we do know that, these are some of these things that we need to be able to manage when we're putting ourselves out there. So filtering through the feedback and going, well, there might be some gems in here. There might be some wisdom in here where I can be wiser for having got this information. And then there might be other things that just, are off the mark. They're not appropriate, that we might want to discard those to one side. But, picking through those and being selective as to what we choose to take on board is a lot of the stuff that we can own, and that can be helpful. The second thing that I think is really helpful when criticism comes our way is, as best we can, again, I'm not saying this stuff is easy, but I'm definitely going to say it's worth doing and working towards, is trying to detach who we are and what our worth is from the performance. So I might write a piece of work. I might do some writing, and I might be tired, and I might be doing it quickly, and I might rush it, and I might not care about it so much. And maybe the piece of writing that I have there isn't fantastic, and someone reads it and they say to me that, it's not a good piece of writing, Joe, that, it's not well structured, it's not well thought through, it looks like you rushed it. Okay, so, and all those things might be fair criticism. So it is true that performance, if we look at a piece of writing as a piece of performance, is not up to standard. But that doesn't mean that I'm not up to standard. So we want to be able to separate who we are and as a human, which is so much more than one piece of writing. So we want to know, and if there might be other performances that we have. Maybe we give a speech at work. Maybe we participate in a sporting competition, whatever it is, and maybe we're not quite up to par on that particular day. But that doesn't make us worthless. So being able to separate out our own worth from the particular performance is going to be an important thing for us. And then the other thing I think we can do, which can be really helpful, is to ask one clarifying question. And so if the criticism is coming to you from someone who you respect, from someone you admire, from someone you have an ongoing relationship with, then maybe you could ask a point of clarification. And that question can vary, but maybe it would be something along the lines of, okay, so in light of the feedback that you've given me, thank you for that feedback. What would be one thing that I could do that would make a difference to initially improving the quality of this work, or help me to understand where my focus needs to be so that I can do a better job next time? So asking a point, so taking the criticism, or let's even revamp it. Can we call it feedback instead of criticism? So take on board the information and then be curious and ask a question about clarifying either the feedback that's been given or what improvement would look like moving on from the activity. So those are 3 things that I think can be really helpful to help us manage through, which is filtering that feedback, so taking on board what is relevant, sifting out the other stuff that is not, making sure we separate who we are from what we did, and then finding out one clarifying question as to how we can be better. Now, if you'd like to see more of these videos or see more of the content that I put together on other topics and other areas, there's lots of ways that you can do that. One of the easiest ways, if you don't have it already, is to receive my newsletter. So my newsletter comes out once a month. If you don't get it and you would like to, maybe you know someone who gets it and they can forward it to you, but you can just get a copy for yourself direct to your inbox. So all you need to do is, if you visit my website, if you remember my name, you'll be able to find my website okay. Up in the top left-hand corner there is a subscribe button. If you share with me your name and your email address, we'll make sure that you get that newsletter through to you at the end of each month. You can also, and there's other resources on my website as well, you can also listen in to the podcast that I update each week with the team, and that is called The Locker Room. I like to keep it nice and simple, and that is on wherever you normally listen to your podcasts. And on that is where we store each of the weekly radio interviews that I do. So on lots and lots of different topics. Some will be very relevant to you, some will not be relevant to you at all, but maybe they'll be interesting for you to listen to. So have a listen to there. There's over 250 episodes, so plenty there for you to listen to. And of course, there's the books that I've written, about 10 books in the series so far. And those books are all about translating some of those lessons from high performance into other environments as well. Would always love to know if you've got a mental toughness minute that you'd like me to cover. Feel free to send me an email or get in contact with me through socials, and certainly we can look at that. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.